Momma Dee don't play. She gon' love you and nurture you when you need it. She gonna kick you in your ass when you ain't doing what you're supposed to do.
Exactly.
And she gonna push you to go get that bag when it's time to get that money. This is the mama that all children in the world need. We all need a Momma Dee. Momma Dee. Momma Dee is a real one. You know, one thing about her, people say what they want to say about Momma Dee, but Momma Dee ain't really no side pickup. Momma Dee really go for. You know what your problem is? I ain't got no problem. I'll beat your ass. You had a million times to do it. Wait, now.
Atlanta, the epicenter of hip-hop, was bathed in a golden glow as the sun set over its streets. But behind the constantly on-guard cameras and flashing lights of love and hip-hop Atlanta, something very personal was happening in a chaotic way. He was still high from the release of his diss track directed at Lil Scrappy. It was a calm afternoon when Khaotic pulled up to a nearby restaurant. He exited his car with his usual swagger muffled by the tension gathering around him. His feud with Scrappy had intensified during the storm, with the streets humming and social media on fire. But now, in a moment of unexpected vulnerability, there was an encounter that no one had anticipated. He was prepared for whatever the world had in store for him next, but he was not prepared for a visit from someone who had raised Scrappy like a child. Momma Dee, the queen of Atlanta hip-hop aristocracy, commanded the attention of everyone as she stood outside the restaurant. But her face had a serious expression that Khaotic had never seen before. Momma Dee was standing in front of him in a manner that was entirely unfamiliar to him after having formerly been a staunch guardian of her son. Momma Dee cocked an eyebrow, wondering what this was about. Khaotic's arms tightened at his sides, still holding the tension from their previous fallout, which he had never been one to back down from. Momma Dee wasn't here to fight, to protect her son, to argue, or to plead. Khaotic wasn't about to back down, and he certainly wasn't going to allow the woman who had always supported her son to dictate to him how he should feel. However, Momma Dee wasn't asking for a fight. Rather, she was asking for something much more difficult. As she approached Khaotic, he noticed a change in her demeanor. Instead of the fierce, unapologetic Momma Dee he had seen on TV and in the streets, there was a rawness in her eyes and an almost maternal quality. She spoke in a steady but emotionally chaotic voice, causing him to pause and take a deep breath. I'm here today to apologize on my son's behalf, even though I know that things got out of control and that he has a lot of pride. I know that he injured you, and I can see how much this has affected you. Having been a mother my entire life, I know that when my child makes a mistake, I know that he's wrong here and that he needs to put things right. As Momma Dee continued, the rage that had been building inside of him started to subside and be replaced by something else. I know I'm not the one you're mad at. Momma Dee's voice cracked a little as she spoke. Khaotic's jaw tightened, his heart still raw from the diss track he had dropped days earlier. His fight was for respect and recognition that he had worked hard for his place in the game. I understand that you feel deceived, but I beg you to listen to my son. Momma Dee's voice trembled, filled with an emotion Khaotic had never heard from her. He is sometimes too proud to listen to me, but I'm pleading with you to forgive him. She spoke with a weight and honesty that broke through the layers of bluster and hurt that had accumulated between them. Khaotic remained motionless as the raw sincerity of her words pierced through the tension. Khaotic had never seen Momma Dee act like this. She wasn't just the reality TV star anymore. She was a mother begging for her son's salvation. Momma Dee looked down, sobbing uncontrollably. She wasn't asking for forgiveness, but for a chance for Scrappy to have an opportunity to make things right. Khaotic felt the rawness of the plea. This wasn't just about pride, it was about mending what had been broken. An opportunity to repair the chasm that had ripped through their once bonded paths. As much as he wanted to hold on to his pride, something softened inside of him. He wasn't ready to let go of everything just yet, but he saw humanity in Momma Dee's plight. Khaotic drew a deep breath, the wrath gradually fading. He nodded slowly as the weight of the moment settled on his shoulders. I'll think about it, he replied, his voice quieter now, a stark contrast to the earlier defiance. But I can't make any guarantees. For the first time, he saw beyond the television persona. He saw a mother who loved her son and a woman who understood the price of pride. Momma Dee's eyes glistened as she offered a silent gesture of support, knowing Scrappy would face his own struggles. "Thank you, Khaotic, for the opportunity to put things right. Not for forgiveness," she whispered, her voice filled with gratitude. "You don't know what this means to me." With that, the moment passed. Khaotic turned to leave, but something inside him had changed. Perhaps this wasn't just about a fight. Perhaps it was about realizing that sometimes it's not about winning or losing. It's about understanding the cost of pride and the power of redemption.
Took something the wrong way or something like that, you know? So I want to say, I'm sorry to Khaotic, you know?
We're getting somewhere.
Not. Cause I can give a Cause let me tell you something. When a over me and he feel like I'm not a good person, I feel the same way Khaotic feel. So we on the same page.
No, but he does not feel that way.
He just said it. He said, hey, if you feel like I'm not a good person in your life, then you need to stay like that and I'm gonna stay like that. And we gonna stand on it.
No!
Let's stand on it.
No!
We gonna stand on it.
No, he does not. He did not say that.
What I said was, if you feel like I'm a bad person to you, then
Okay, but this is not about that right now. This is about you. How do you feel about him?
I never said I had a problem with him.
No, this what he do. This what he do. He say something crazy and he be like, oh, I ain't got no beef. I ain't got no son.
Khaotic always try to play a victim. He'll start some, then he want to be like, I don't want no beef, man. If you got an issue, stand on it. If not, sit down and shut up, bro.
At the end of the day, like I said, bro, it don't even really matter.
Cuz gonna try to goddamn, he want everybody to like, oh my God.
No, because we're so grown, we can really make an assessment of our own thoughts here.
I be watching Cuz, I be like, oh.
Okay, so wait.
You know what your problem is?
I ain't got no problem, man. I'll beat your ass.
You had a million times to do it. Get on TV to do it. You're a TV man.
You a clown.
You got a problem with me.
And you a keep talking that boy.
His ups and downs with his
Scrappy's job, family connections, and the constant ups and downs of his life were well known to everyone. But no one could have predicted the day when Scrappy's own actions would lead to his fall from grace. The downfall began following a particularly contentious dispute with a cast member known for his brazen demeanor and tendency to stir things up, Khaotic, who had never been afraid to voice his opinions. What had started as a minor disagreement between Khaotic and Scrappy quickly spiraled out of control. Words were exchanged, insults were thrown, and what had initially seemed like a small issue suddenly ignited into an explosive confrontation. It became a full-scale altercation. As the tension mounted, Scrappy, who had always been known for losing his temper quickly, finally reached his breaking point. The two men exchanged increasingly abrasive words, but it was Scrappy's threat that would seal his fate. In a fit of rage, Scrappy threatened Khaotic in a way that was more than just words. His tone was chilling, and the venom in his speech left no room for interpretation. His words were filled with menace, and everyone in the vicinity felt the weight of his anger. The workers and producers who had witnessed the scenario were stunned. What had started as another tense disagreement had crossed a dangerous line. It was clear now that this wasn't just another fight. It was a moment where a man had gone too far, and the consequences would be catastrophic.
Whole time, he the one who called me out my name, disrespecting me, talking gangster. I never talked gangster. I never threatened him. I don't play no victim. I just don't do all that fake gangster talking and all that there. You can't make me talking gangster. First of all, if I say anything slick or say anything crazy out my mouth, I got the right to.